That is what I am doing. I'm good. How are you guys? How are you guys doing? You had a good week? Cool. Cool. All right. So listen, a couple of things, because there's going to be a bit of a lag. Please bear with me. I've been on hold with my one bank for an hour, and I refuse to let it go. I need to chat to them. So, so if I get a call, I'll be like 3 minutes. I'll just mute my microphone, talk to them quickly, and then I will come back. So I apologize ahead. I'm listening for the call, so I'm live on the call. My one thing, and I'm doing the chart. I'm talking to you guys, so sorry, but I have to do this. It's absolutely crazy to wait an hour to get through. It doesn't make any sense. So, and all I have to do is just like quickly tell them something. It's just unbelievable. I'm very not impressed. Okay, so guys, let's have a quick look. Let's go through the markets very quickly so we can then switch to the live thing. For the dollar index, which is, because on ProRealTime, I like the platform. I'm a big fan of it, but I never get that live. I never get live data. It's weird because it's one of those. It's obviously very expensive for them to give you live data for every single instrument that exists, because ProRealTime has every instrument that's kind of out there, and they won't give me the dollar index with everything else. It should be bundled, in my opinion, with currencies, but they won't do it. Anyway, technically, I could create my own one. So there's this amazing tool where you could go through to, is it objects or trading, where you could create an index. I need to go back to this, sorry, and I'm going to create my own dollar index. I'm going to do that. Where was it actually where I saw that? Display charts, ProRealTime. It was something else. Where did I do it? It's somewhere here. Calculated instruments. There we go. So I could do this, and I could go create a new one. This is kind of cool. I'm just showing this while we do. I can create my own index. So I could go and add one in. And it's going to be an index creation. And then I would call it, so it would be Euro combined with GBP combined with dollar yen. We could just do this quickly. I've been meaning to do it. So let's just quickly go in and go, which instruments, I forget which ones are in US dollar index. What's it made up of? Swiss franc. I'll do this one quickly. USD, CHF. Canadian dollar, dollar CAD. Because it had some Swedish krona ones, so it's not like it's just those ones. Swedish krona. I don't know how they qualified for that. So that should be dollar USD, Swedish krona. SKK, is it? Swedish krona, SEK. Dollar, SEK. My brain is a bit fried today. So it's meant to be 8 other currencies. Let's see, what are the other ones there? What's it made up of? Give me the breakdown. And you can get a real-time one from tradingview.com. You get a real one anyway. So let's just see. I just want to see where they break it down. It's so weird. How to trade it. It's the silliest thing. And it's called, you guys know about Baby Pips, right? Baby Pips is a great little site for learning stuff. And they have a fantastic description here of what's in it. So Canadian dollar, Swedish krona, and there's a breakdown of it. There's a whole thing on it. Anyway. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so I could probably do a percentage-based thing. I'm going to take that, some of the instruments volumes, some of capitalizations. I might come back to this, and I'm going to create this because I think I can actually, effectively, so which one is it? This one. So I'm going to move this to the side and just select that. And then I have the dollar index. Ta-da! But then I need a base of like 100. So I need the numbers to be, I need the numbers to be at a correct thing. But that's pretty cool. So there we go. I got the dollar index in real time that I've just created. How cool is that? So you can create an index of all the yen charts. I need to do that. An index of all the euro charts and so on, and just go and have a look through them. Very cool. Let me check any of your questions. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Guyan, nice to have you join us. And so let's go through this. Okay, so the volatility index, right? The VIX. This is an index which obviously captures volatility on the S&P. I'm going to reintroduce it to my weekly analysis. I want to show you this. So basically, when we had the 2008 global financial crisis, the volatility increased. The last time we really had that happen was sort of probably around the US election and COVID. COVID would be the big thing, really. Sorry, not the US election, that's 22, COVID. And so we had that big spike. Now we've been below that. So even this last year when Russia invaded Ukraine and we had the big market correction, we didn't really have anything happen there. So I put an alarm at 40 and at 30, 35, I'll see what happens. But basically that would be a clue. If we are going into, there's a lot of very smart people, Michael Burry, Ray Dalio, there's a couple of other people are absolutely convinced we are going into another leg down and that we're going to go sideways for 2023. But like this is a possibility. So if that increases, if the market is going to get twitchy, we're going to see it happen in the VIX. It should go up. But you know what? I'm not going to really register. I'm not going to consider it serious unless it starts breaking above 30. Then I would say, okay, we've got an issue. Cool. So, great. They're still not answering. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's Monzo Bank, if anyone cares. So they're just annoying me. So let's have a look at the euro dollar. Okay, so euro dollar is in an uptrend. It's pulled back to the previous highs, producing currently a bullish candle. But this bullish candle might, and let me know if you can see it or not see it, and if I'm in the way. I think I can edit my stuff. OBS, I'll move myself out the way and shrink myself down or something, just a little bit out the way there. So do I think CAD Swissy will continue to fall and drop off the weekly chart? You know, it's a bit overextended to the downside. It's sitting on a level of support. Let's put it like that. Actually, you know what? I don't do that. It's quite interesting. I'll put it there. Your analysis is usually very good, Usman. Your stuff is usually very good. I know what you're looking at. That looks quite nice and bearish. Looks like it's rolling over. So you notice how we have these wicks at the bottom here. We have these wicks at the bottom here. And if it starts closing near the lows without the wicks, it's probably edging towards breaking through that level. Right now, we've got a lower high, lower lows. Well, we've got a high, a low, lower high. Not yet, but it is sort of still bearish here. You know what? You're going to have to wait and see, I'm afraid. You're going to have to wait and see because there's not enough evidence at this time. I would have thought it's overextended, it could bounce, but it actually does look bearish there. So I would just have to wait and see. But I would say as it keeps closing lower and lower, then it looks more and more like it's going to cross the line. And if you look at the other Swissy chart, so again, let's have a look at some of the other Swissies. What does dollar Swissy look like it wants to do? Dollar Swissy also looks a bit weak. So I think if all the Swissy charts are heading lower, then that's potentially the case, especially if CAD is possibly also looking quite strong. So then you would see, well, CAD Swissy, you'd see CAD needs to be weak, I beg your pardon. What is wrong with me? Okay, let's have a look at euro dollar. So we've got this, which could be a potential bull signal, or bullish setup. But today's news, I think, is just going to create a swing. Now, for those of you who haven't joined before, what often happens is we get a swing up and down. You could literally get like just swings. It goes like up, down, up, down, up, down, and then by about 2-3 o'clock UK time, so at about 90 minutes time, it starts to settle into, normally, this doesn't happen every time, but it happens like 7 or 8 out of 10 times. Then it starts settling into a groove and it just goes until the market closes. And so and the thing is, because it swings either way, you never know which way it's altered. You have to wait till like 3:34, which by that time is only 9 or 10 a.m. in the US. And then it starts settling into it and it starts going. Okay, so we're going to have to see how that goes. It's a really good area for this to find resistance. So actually, I'm kind of leaning towards this going down. That would be my expectation. We've got some bearish divergence here, which has started to flatten out. So it could go either way from that, but I'm still leaning bearishly. Let's look at sterling. Sterling has broken to the downside. You can see there's definitely got a level of resistance over here. So I'm going to bump that in. We need to have a bit of resistance there. Let's just put that in. So that is also struggling a bit, and it's also got a bit of a level there. Aussie dollar is fine, but look at this, like basically a double top there with bearish divergence. So that looks like that wants to have a correction. And if it has a correction, it's back down to these lows or back down towards the next lows at the very least. Dollar yen. Dollar yen to me is looking very, very bullish. This MACD is creeping up, so I'll just widen this up. That's trending up. So if I just put a trend line in there, it's trending higher, which is nice and bullish, but this is still going down. It's overextended. It's starting to slow down here. So I expect this to, at some point, I expect this to either double bottom or start breaking to the upside. And if you look at some of the yen crosses, they're starting to do that very quickly because we've got 2 minutes. I want to have a look at these ones here. So wheat's got like a triple bottom, changing into an uptrend, very bullish divergence there. I think that is going to be nice and bullish to the upside. Coffee has had a bumper. Look at that outside bullish candle. That's usually a very bullish signal. This I would expect to continue up. Then we have sugar, which is just going to shrink this window down so I can see other stuff as well. And this as well. Let's bring that down. Okay. So, and then, yeah, uptrend here looks nice and bullish. Point is, sugar's looking bullish. Cotton, I still think is leading to a bullish breakout for you guys. I think that looks like a very nice bullish breakout. So there's some stuff happening with commodities. If you don't trade them, that's fine. But if you do, if you have an IG index account or some accounts where they offer that IC markets, lots of brokers have that, then these are ones I think are worth looking at. And you know what? If it's gappy in the liquidity, let's have a look at the market. Sorry, let's go back up. That's me. There we go. So let's see what happens. Let's go to... Let's make the monthly a 2 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Let's make it that. There we go. So the reason I'm looking at the charts and not the numbers is because the charts and the numbers can just do different things. They really can. So the number isn't really actually that important. How the market reacts to it. So this is strong dollar. So my expectation was, based off all the divergence and everything, was a stronger dollar. It didn't mean it was going to happen today, but I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen probably next week because we're overextended. We need to have a bit of a correction. It appears as though we are having it triggered now. And so let's see what the height of that is. So the difference from top to bottom on that is, what's that, 70 pips. That's quite a big move. And you can watch it swing. So let's go to a 1 minute chart. It's a bit messy. Let's go to 2 minutes. And let's just see what happens here. The reason I want to do that is just to see how big it swings, okay? I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's swap it up. Let's take this back to a daily on this chart. I don't want to go to the other window yet. Daily chart up there. We'll make this one a weekly chart or a monthly, where it is. And we'll make this one the 2 minutes or 1 minute, because then we can kind of see what's going on. We've got lots of distance where we can see it's going to happen. Okay. There we go. So now we can kind of see what it's going to do. Let's have a look at how sterling was, same thing there. We can see that reaction potentially starting to knock down. Dollar yen. Boom. There we go. So look at the dollar yen move to the upside. Not bad, hey? If anyone's wondering, if anyone is wondering, if I look at what the technical charts look to say ahead of a news announcement, I would say definitely more than 50% of the time, the technical, what the technical chart looks like it wants to do is almost always what happens, but definitely most of the time, not every time. I think it's a little bit more random with the news. Like if I'm looking at charts without the news, so if you look at a chart and it looks bullish and there's no news coming out, it'll tend to follow through. The news adds an extra layer of unpredictability to, I hope you can hear me all right, by the way, adds an extra layer of unpredictability to the markets. But that unpredictability is not so much that it changes the odds entirely. I would still say that the technical outlook of the chart, the technical behavior of the chart wins. I couldn't put a percentage to it, but I would say 60 to 65% of the time. I think that's fair and realistic. That the technical charts are it still goes in favor of what the technical charts were looking like. Okay, Making sure I see all the chat as well. Okay, so we get that. So let's see what the numbers were then. So if we go back to this and look at ForexVox, Forex Factory. So what do we get? Okay, so let's see what actually happened. We had non-farm, so the numbers were good. I mean, whether you like him or not, Biden is killing it. Like, it is insane to see these kinds of numbers. Look at that. So well over what they expected. However, you've got two things here. You've got unemployment. So unemployment actually dropped, and you got non-farm. I mean, that's huge. That's why that reaction was that way. They were anticipating 193. They were wrong, and it was 517. Basically, I want to say double what they got. That is just crazy, guys. They haven't seen numbers like this. And again, it's sad because we have people that dislike Biden for no real reason. And he's a phenomenal. He's just, you know what it is? Sticks his head down. He just does his work. He's not on Twitter all the time, tweeting crazy shit. And he just does his stuff. And he's been around. I'll give you this. He's old. He's been around 40, 50 years. And I think he just knows what to do. He's worked with all the presidents in the past. He knows what to do to make, and his stuff is old fashioned. So it's going back to what used to work back in the day when life was a bit simpler. Anyway, no one has ever seen numbers like this. It is absolutely insane. Anyway, look, if you don't like him, that's fine. But they have never seen unemployment and jobs numbers like this. And he's only just 2 and a bit years in. Like, that's madness. Anyway, okay. So let's go back to the charts and have a look. So very strong dollar. I think that's going to be it. I mean, I think there's no reason now why that dollar. So my expectation now is that dollar is probably going to strengthen it makes sense. Those numbers are insane. I think it makes sense for the dollar to now might as well just get going. It needs to do it. So I would expect to see these things continue to weaken, probably for the rest of the day. Look, it can turn around, but I don't know why. All of that is in favor of a strong dollar. And it needs to. We need to get that correction. So when I talk about getting a stronger dollar, I'm usually talking about just for the next few days. I don't mean for 2023. I'm saying that the trend could change, but we are due for a correction to the downside. We need to have that happen. So what we could do is see that move lower. So let's go look at stocks. Let's go see how that impacted the Dow and everything. So the markets are still bullish. Can you have a strong dollar and a strong stock market? You can, but it's more difficult. And I think if you get a strong stock market with a strong dollar, then it just shows you how bullish the market is. I don't expect necessarily for the markets to collapse. I'm not expecting that at this time. But we could find what I think is on the table. This is for everyone who follows my weekly analysis. I think we have to consider the possibility that 2023 is going to be a bit like this. I think it's possible. So it's going to be a little bit like that. And sorry if you can't see that. A little bit like that. Just checking where you can see it. So our market. So I think it's going to be potentially a little bit like this or potentially a little bit like that. A little bit up and down. We've got the uncertainty is still there. Russian, that war has got to come to an end. And here's the thing. If that thing comes to an end because Putin concedes, Russia he's going to be out. That's it. He's done. Because it would be so tricky for him to make it seem as a position of strength to do it. Which means the global powers kind of change up. China's now pushing the edge a little bit with that. So we feel like war is imminent with either China and the US or Russia and NATO. It's interesting where we live. So also there's another little feature here, which is the scale type. So I'm going to go through to log, which means what this does is this changes the proportions a little bit. It shows because, in the past, when you had a 20-point move on an index in a day, that was a big thing. Now you can have a 100-point move on an index, and it's kind of normal. So the log thing sort of adjusts things back into proportion so that a big move today is similar to a big move in the past, if that makes sense. So that's why it kind of shrinks everything back down, and you can sort of see what's happening here. And so it's sort of, you can see why 0 to 1,000 is this big, and then 2,000 to 6,000 is the same size. So that just gives you a sense of kind of where we are. Do I think Aussie CAD will continue to rise and pop? So I think the market's going to continue to climb high. overall, I'm very bullish on the markets, but I'm not. Look at NASDAQ taking a bit of a hit there. Look at that. But that's on the 1 minute time frame. What is happening here? Scale type linear. Okay. That doesn't look right. Anyway, let's go back to Russell 2000. Give me this. Okay, there we go. And here's the daily. So you want to be looking on the right-hand side up here to see the daily to get a sense. Because these markets have just opened. Here's the NASDAQ. It's still looking okay. Yeah, look at that. And that's the 1 minute. So that's been creeping up. Okay, what else? I'm still bullish in principle on them, but I think we're going to encounter some resistance in these areas. I'm going to have to see how that goes, and then we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, but yeah, there's been some ridiculously good stuff. Okay, Aussie CAD. You want me to have a look at Aussie CAD? Anything else that anyone else would like me to have a look at? Okay, do I think Aussie CAD will continue? Oh, so that's a good point. Yeah, I thought this trend was good, but a trend can change. But I thought the trend was good. But now, when I look at it on a monthly perspective, I have to admit I didn't see, I overlooked this. Excuse me. I don't often make silly mistakes. I don't often do it, meaning that as you progress as a trader, silly mistakes like missing a major level or, I don't know, placing a trade on Aussie CAD when you meant to place on an Aussie yen, all those are like little normal newbie mistakes. I don't make those very often, but I think I literally think I've just kind of made one now. So Aussie CAD, I was very keen on Aussie CAD. I quite liked it as a good setup, and I realize now that it was at a major level. So there wasn't any bearish divergence, but it's just a change in trend. You don't always have to get divergence and a change in trend. You can get a change in trend anyway. So that was a trade which I presume I've just lost on now. Let me just check because I was in on that trade. No, I'm still in on that trade. Why? I should be out. Let's just see. I thought, and the other one? Yeah. Okay, so I'm out on those. Let me just close this out. Okay. So no, I got stopped out on the Aussie CAD stuff. Okay, but what I would say is if you get another bullish candle now, so let's say you get a bullish candle today or a bullish candle on Monday, that is a double bottom, guys. That is a double bottom. Okay, so then if you get a bullish, you have an uptrend and you get a double bottom pattern, that to me is a very bullish signal that I quite like to look at. But that monthly is just a level I hadn't, I somehow overlooked it, I missed that. So for now, I'm out. I've just been stopped out on the one account on that one. Okay. Anything else that you want me to have a look at? Everybody's very quiet. Let's go see what else is going on here. So gold. How's gold doing? So gold's taking a hit, but this is the dollar. We needed a correction on gold. Okay, we had to have that correction on gold. We've had a straight up move here. If you look, the biggest move we had prior to that was, it was kind of April 2021 or prior to that. So we haven't had a solid 3 bars up. So for those of you who follows Al Brooks, would talk about that kind of thing. Al Brooks would go like 3 bars up, such and such and such. He would talk about that. But for me, I just meant the distance it moved has been, look at how, kind of did 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6, 7 months down and then 3 months straight up. That's a very bullish move, but it's also unsustainable. You can't. So you have to go back to that weekly correction and have it come back down to that. So to me, gold coming back down here is very good. It's very healthy. So we could have gold head lower for the whole of next week, and then the week after we get a bullish candle. Or, yeah, that makes sense, that we could have something like that happen. Do I think Bitcoin will rise and go up, or do you think price will drop and go down? So if we follow the idea that the markets are going to go sideways this year, the markets that have taken the biggest hit in 2023 were tech stocks, in my opinion, like Facebook and like Meta, PayPal, like Cathy Wood's ARK ETF, which is tech heavy, which is Tesla. They just got knocked right down, all of them. I mean, I joke about Tesla, but like it's not the only one. Amazon was the biggest drop out of everything. We can have a look at them. So if we, but if you look at this is a bit of a bullish setup here. So let's just go back to this one, reduce price. It's trying to break up. This is trying to break to the upside there. Tesla's trying to do this. We'll see. It's keep an eye on that. Okay, it's not looking great here. So if you kind of do this and bring this down, you need something similar. You need that. So you need that to start breaking up higher. In fact, if you really want to be strong, you need that to break higher than that. But that's what it's trying to do. So watch Tesla try to trade to the upside. So actually interesting how you would trade that. How would we trade that? I want to try this, so just bear with me. Let's quickly go have a look at this one. So let's go to Tesla. This is not a, for you guys to copy, but let's just go see this. Go to this one. Go to a 1 minute time frame. Where's my... Okay, so you would do this, if anyone's interested, let's do this. 3-to-1 script. So I want to go long, and I want to set a pending order. There's a bit of a lag on this. I don't know why that is. Is that my entry? Where's my entry on this one? Bear with me and I'll quickly do this one. I always find this stuff doesn't make sense to me. So my stop loss should be red. My take profit should be gold because gold makes sense, or amber. My stop loss red. Entry is always lime green. My stop loss is always red. I don't know why these would be that way. Again, that would be gold. And my stop price, that would be red. Okay, let's just see what happens. Let's do this one. Okay. So now I can sort of see what I'm doing here. There's my stop loss there. My take profit is up here, and I have a 1-to-1 take profit there. So I'm going to move my stop loss under here. Let's go back and have a look at what it's doing right now. And also what I'll do. Is this open or is it delayed? Okay, pre-open. Oh, 2 o'clock is open. 2 o'clock. So this is what I'm going to do, if I can. Let's see if it lets me do it. So, 1 minute. You could put your stop loss below this little consolidation, or you could put it below here. So all of that's acceptable. So let's put it there. Put my entry above the high. My first take profit, because I've got 2 take profits in this, is 186.66. And my final take profit is there. Take profit is 3. So wait. Stop this. Move that up there. Move that down there. And my entry. So entry 2, stop loss 186.60. Oh, it's a price. That's why it's meant to be the same distance. It's fine. I'll just make that my 1-to-1. If you were really kind of very aggressive, you'd have a tighter stop loss, tighter take profit 1. I'm doing it by eye now. And my take profit 3 would be slightly closer. So let's see what happens. So then I would go in for 1%, and let's just run the script and just see what came in. So let's see if it'll let me place the order. It could be because the market's closed. So let's just do this and just do 40 lots for now. Make it simpler. We'll just do that to 0.5. I'm just curious. I would have thought this could handle this. It doesn't seem to want to do it until the market's open. So I probably can't do it because the market's open. I'll just see that one. Doesn't want to do it. Okay, let's go back to the charts here. So I think it's looking very bullish. I think it wants to move out there. Let's have a look at just see how the other stuff, because tech stocks weren't looking good. Like NASDAQ was struggling a little bit there. We've got the Russell struggling a little bit there. These are dailies. Okay, that's fine. Let's see how some of these look. DAX heading low, so that makes sense. It's getting knocked. We get S&P pushing higher. What else we got? How are bonds doing? Bonds are getting knocked as well. Oh, cryptos. So you asked me about Bitcoin. Sorry, man. So if tech stocks are going to rise, it's all about tech stocks. It's all about tech stocks. It's rare that cryptos will climb if tech stocks are taking a hit. It's just impossible, because a big chunk of the money in cryptos now is coming from the same people that put money into Microsoft and that's where the big money is. It's not just people like us. It's big wealthy people, institutions, it's companies as well. So if other things are taking a hit, that's going to take a hit. So the short answer is, if tech stocks can do well, cryptos will also do well. Okay, and therefore I think they'll climb. I still believe in the future of cryptos. I still believe in the future of blockchain. I still believe in all of that. I just think the world has got other problems right now. It's not as focused on digital currencies. I think it's worried about other issues like World War and stuff like that as well. So I think that's really where the focus is. And so cryptos are just not getting the attention that they used to get. And therefore I think they'll take a hit. That's my kind of technical analysis, kind of logic behind it. So, yeah. All right, cool. Now, any other questions, ladies and gents? Do I think the FTSE will continue to rise and up? It has been looking so bullish. So this is my kind of opinion on it. The FTSE has been outperforming, while the US has been taking a hit, the FTSE has been breaking to new highs. The DAX has been doing well. The ASX, the Australian ASX, has also been performing incredibly well. Look at this. It's right up at the old highs. Can it break through to new highs? Well, the FTSE has already done that. So FTSE is already kind of going to new highs. And therefore, I think that's a really good sign. Because the alternative is that if it fails, if it's broken to new highs and then on the monthly, and then it fails, and that becomes a failed breakout, that could be really kind of dire. That could mean that the UK economy, the FTSE, is going to come a long way back down. And I really don't want to think that's the case. I think the US economy is strong. I know the UK economy is not doing as well as everyone else's. Where people are the least optimistic about the UK economy out of everything. And a lot of them are blaming Brexit. Brexit was a bad idea. But overall, I have to tell you, it is looking good. There's no bearish divergence here. It's bullish now. It's on a break above these highs. It's bullish. To me, the FTSE is bullish. And in fact, it's the most bullish it has been relative to other indices in all the time I've ever been trading. So I'm kind of going to put myself out there and say that I think, based on the data I see so far, the FTSE is strong. Cool. Are you guys finding this useful? All right, you find this useful to get this kind of input analysis? We've run over by 5 minutes. I didn't want to keep everyone too long. I wanted it to just be that. I'm also, though, curious about how Tesla's going to open up. That was kind of that trade that I would do. Is there risk in this trade? The trade idea is fine. The trade idea is fine. I'm a little bit concerned about this bearish divergence. It should be nice and flat or slightly bullish. It should be going higher, not all flat, but definitely shouldn't be hitting lower. Excuse me, and if it doesn't gap up or gap down, it should trigger and should go on. And a 3-to-1 target is pretty standard. So that should do the trick. I really want to take that trade on that account, but we'll see. All right, ladies and gents, I don't want to keep you on too long. I mean, I know it's going to open in 9 minutes. Unless you want to just stick around for the next 9 minutes and let's just see what happens with it. But in that case, if you want to do that, I wouldn't be offended if you left. I wouldn't be offended. But if you want to stick around, then I'm going to talk a little bit more about strategy. I'll talk a bit about strategy because we can. And again, I hate that there's a lag between me talking and the markets and you guys getting it. I have tried to bring it down, and they keep on YouTube videos. I keep talking about how you can bring it down to almost real time, but I just can't seem to get it to do that. So yeah, let's have a look. What else? Crude oil. Let's have a look at crude oil. Okay, so again, I also don't get Brent crude. I get crude light. I don't get Brent crude in real time. So we can see how that's going. It's just I've got different accounts in different places. Yeah, you can get. Okay, cool. Do it. So let's just have a look at something else as well. Let's bring in. Here we go. So what's happening with crude oil? 5 minutes here. You can see it's swinging wildly. That to me is a normal non-farm payroll day. That's a normal one. Okay, I think it wants to keep going. So what else? Has anything else taken a hit? Let me just see. I had a couple of... This week, I normally wouldn't have taken trades, but I ultimately kind of looked at a couple of those. And let's just see what happened with these. Okay, so Aussie CAD stopped that. That was just annoying. My NASDAQ trade is fine, and crude oil doesn't look great, but it also doesn't look bad. Crude oil looks okay. It's holding up. So my analysis on crude oil looked like this. I had... Just change the color on this. I just had a bull channel. So I believe that the less stuff you have on your chart, the better. So that means mainly just candlesticks and support resistance levels. But I am also okay working with moving averages and the MACD. Like, I think the MACD is very good. I almost don't even know if you need any of the other stuff here, because you get the same signals from the RSI that you get from the MACD, but the RSI can produce false signals. So I think you can get rid of that and just work with that. I think it's very rare that I'd get a signal from a MACD, a false signal. So kind of bare minimum. Now, with regards to trend lines, I actually don't work with trend lines in that sense. I'm influenced by a lot of different traders. So I'm influenced by, my brain can look at things from different angles and look at it from Al Brooks's angle, and then look at it from Nick McDonald, TWP's angle. And then I can kind of see which way the market is weighted. So at least the whole idea is to be able to look at different ways in which the market could unfold. It's not going to be unlimited. It's going to be 2 or 3 different ways it could. It's usually going to have one way where it's more likely to do that. And then that's the way you start to go, okay, well, if it is going to do that, then what do I expect to see? So my point is this. In principle, this is bullish. We've got higher lows, higher highs on the MACD. It's bullish. It's not just that. It's above 0. So when the MACD goes above 0, that's bullish. Like, if it's above 0, it's generally bullish. If it's below 0, it's generally bearish. So it's above 0, trending upwards. And we have higher lows and higher highs on the daily chart, So we've got a bull channel, what you would call a bull channel, or high lows, high highs on the daily. We've got a bullish MACD. Cool. And so that doesn't mean it can't change trend, but it does mean that currently all the evidence, all the signals it's giving off are bullish, and therefore you should treat it as though it is bullish. Not only that, but it's also breached this little trend line that I drew down. It's breached that. So it's also breached the trend line, which is a bullish sign. That if it was weak and bearish, it would not have been able to do that, generally speaking. Okay, so what does that tell me? It tells me that it's definitely not weak, because otherwise it wouldn't have been able to do that. It also, unfortunately, doesn't tell me it's really strong, because I don't think it would have come back down where it is now. I think it would have turned if we had this candle. What it actually tells me is that the market is trying. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. No wonder everyone's left. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, let's quickly wrap up. I realize it's going to go open at 2:30. My brain is fried. I'm sorry, I've got a lot going on at the moment. Administration stuff and things I have to just sort out. Quickly, what I want to do is you should be able to see my screen. I want to make sure that you can. Everything is fine. You can hear me. Sound is back. Okay, sorry about that. Right. So let's just look at how the market's reacting. So they're struggling a little bit here, but levels of support should still hold. So for me, I would expect them to climb. Let's look at the S&P. The reason I'm mixing up the charts as well, I want you to understand that the data quality now is like 99% on everything now. Whereas there was a time 2010, 2010, 13, 15 years ago where there was a 5 pip, 10 pip difference. It wasn't the same. It was spotty and it was horrible, but it's not that problem anymore. Look at S&P. I expect us to pull back on the daily back into these old highs. We've got NASDAQ potentially going to pull down. We'll see how that goes. Remember, we still got, look at the FTSE's coping just fine. So the FTSE is nice and bullish and it's pushing through. I stand by my assessment at this time. I'm not seeing any reason why. And I'm such a fan of technical analysis because it's hard for some people, and I respect that it's difficult for some people to do that. But I did that journey for about 3 years where I was trying to follow the fundamental analysis and everyone's opinions and trying to understand why the chart was not respecting that or responding to that. And I followed Nick McDonald, and the goal, right, is to make money. The goal here is to learn to read which way the charts are going. And so technical analysis says you follow the chart. And I watched Nick, and I had a small trading account. So I was just getting started. I was probably 33, 34, small account, just getting started. And I kept trying to do the fundamental news and everyone's opinion, and Greece was going to default and the US was going to go to war, a trade war with China. And this was going to happen. And, Nick would say, look, this chart's bullish, and it every week the charts would do what he kind of, if he said, if it breaks this high, it's going there. And that would happen. And in the end, my account was going down and he was right every single time. Like every time. He was like, if it breaks here, then I expect it to pull back. If it breaks there, I expect it to keep going. So he had like 2 or 3 options, but there was a plan for each one. And in the end, I just went, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to follow the chart. And I have never looked back. The chart has always ultimately performed incredibly well. So then what I find happens is the chart does what it does, and then the news starts changing. Then the news starts going, the numbers are good, the economy's okay. So in the end, that's it. Because the news does come from the data. The news looks at the data and goes, okay, well, this is why the market did what it did. So the news is actually backwards looking. It's not forwards looking. Does that make sense? So look at gold. Gold needs that correction, man. It needs it. Needs to come back down. It's a very big bearish bar. It needs to come back down to about 1800. Could come down as far as these highs, back down to these highs or these highs. It needs to do it. Cool. Silver's done. So next week, I'm going to be looking for shorter term day trades to the downside. Because I don't know if we'll have, we'll see. Cautiously to the downside. Crude oil, taking that hit. It's actually coping all right. Let's look at that on the daily. It's doing okay. We'll see how it closes. But oil's been doing its own thing for the last month or so anyway. Euro dollar, bit of a correction there. Overall, the euro is quite strong. Let's look at sterling. Bit of a correction there. So I was creating an index. I wanted to create an index for the dollar yen for myself to see what that looked like. Where is it? There it is. So I was creating a dollar yen index so that I could see what was happening there. So that's pretty cool. I can see if the yen is strong or weak. That's pretty cool. And we'll go back to Tesla. And look, we've got another 15 minutes. I can't wait. I'm not going to keep you guys going. I've got other stuff I have to do. So I was talking about this. Here we go. So yeah, so that is my reasoning behind that. I feel like I was talking about something else. Any other questions on that one? Cool. So in principle, I think it's coping relative. That's what I was looking at it over here. So we've got Aussie dollar, which is very strong, is not going to take too much of a hit. That looks all right. Dollar Swiss is so messy, guys, but it does look bullish. Bullish divergence. Looks like it wants to change trend. Dollar yen has had a bit of a push up. I think this is going to be our higher low. So I want to be watching this high here. That's what I want to be watching because I expect price to break through that and start going up. And if it does, where do I expect it to go to? I would then expect it to probably work its way up to at least that level. So that means there's some moves up to that level, possibly. Let's move it, adjust it a little bit. So it's a bit more like that. Sorry, a little bit more like that. So what's that? 134. 134, possibly if it can go higher, back up to 138. If it's going to do that. So there could be some good opportunities to the upside there. Let's look at the crosses. Euro yen trying to break higher. So that's a bullish signal so far. That's a bullish signal. Pound yen going to do a bullish signal. Aussie yen, potential bullish signal. We'll see. Kiwi yen, we'll see how that goes. That's other stuff, just a mess. Swissy yen, CAD yen. Okay, so that's going to be a nice breakout. I think this is going to be a very, very good breakout on this one. I might place... Okay, so for Usman, you might get this. I believe this is a flat level. I think that's going to be a flat level breakout. We have definitely got bullish divergence. We can see all the yen pairs are heading higher. I think there's going to be a breakout from this level. So that's the easy part. The more complicated part is that if it's in a range and you have a high degree of confidence it's going to break out to the upside, you could theoretically just buy at the bottom of that range. If I'm so confident that this is going to go up, I could buy at the bottom of the range. And so technically I could buy, when this candle closes, I could buy at the top of it, stop loss below the low. And there's risk. The risk in the trade is I'm wrong, that it's not ready to turn around. It's going to come down, bob around, and then it's going to break out. Things change. But if I really truly believe that this is a flat level breakout, that we're going to do it, then I might as well just buy on this candle, stop loss below the low. Acknowledge it. In my trading diary, I'm taking a risk. I'm getting in earlier. We haven't broken out yet. It hasn't even successfully broken out yet, but I still believe the evidence supports it. Therefore, I'm just going to buy now. I put my stop loss in the most sensible place, which is 5 points below the daily candle or below here. Both of those are valid, but they change the reward to risk. If my stop loss is here, entry's here, my first target's here, my 3-to-1's up there. If this candle, I use this, then my first target is here, my 3-to-1's here. So it changes the game. Does that make sense? Do I think pound CAD will continue to rise and go up off the weekly chart? It's a lower high. It doesn't mean anything. What has to happen now is you have to get a double bottom here. This is something that can legitimately happen. Legitimately, hear what I'm about to say. Price bounces off this. You get a bullish candle here. That level holds. Bullish candle here. And then it goes. And then it goes. So this is a double bottom. Boom, and it goes. So I would have to reserve judgment. I'd have to see a bar close right below that level before I make that call, and then it would be a downtrend. But it could honestly come down, peak below it, and then finish as a bullish candle. So I don't think you're going to get that result until next week, unless it just keeps going and going and going. So far, what are the other CAD charts doing? What is Aussie CAD is coming back down? I see that. That's definitely hit my other stop loss now, so that must have hit my other stop loss. Aussie CAD, oh, that's the one I'm out on anyway. And the other one, I'm out on that one. It's fine. So, Aussie CAD, Kiwi CAD is looking bearish. That looks bearish. Euro CAD. Euro CAD is range bound. GBP CAD. It looks weak. I'm very concerned. But this could double bounce. So, I would see what's going to happen there. But if it breaks much below that, I would consider getting out. If you aren't in, I wouldn't get in. But yeah, a bullish candle here, my point is, a bullish candle here like this would potentially indicate, a bullish weekly candle would indicate a double bottom. It would indicate a very good potential move to the upside. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I've bored everyone else to death. But keep an eye on Tesla. I want to see what happens with Tesla on the 1 minute chart. Does it move higher? We'll see what's going to happen with that. I'm going to let everybody go. I want you to have a great weekend. Don't forget, we have those big swings. The game is not over yet. We go back to that euro dollar. It's calming down a little bit now. And we need to see where it goes by about 3:30 if it's going to start. But I think for the most part, I expect this to continue down. I will let you all go. So thank you very much. Listen, have a great weekend. My apologies for that ridiculous 10-minute call in the middle. I will, if you like this, if you like the content here in Brisbane, I know you do, but if anyone else likes this, please just let me know at the bottom, and I will, and if there's a suggestion you have as to what kind of things you'd like to see included in this, let me know. Okay. And I will, I'm going to end the stream. Have a good weekend. Okay. There we go. Cheers.